Hey everybody, welcome back to another Judgment commentary of Made in Abyss Season 2. That's right, I'm still keeping up with this. But today, we're going to be checking out Episode 9, and last time on Episode 8, that was a heavy hitter of an episode, a lot of stuff we could unpack about that one. But to start off, at the very beginning of the episode, Reg approached Faputa to try to give him a part of herself so that he could exchange it for Mitty and, everyone else who got mixed up in that little deal with Beloff, and she said that she would gladly give up part of herself in exchange for him keeping a promise that he made to her. She didn't tell us what that promise was, but I've got a theory about that. Anyway, she ripped her own arm clean off and happily handed it over to him. And then we got the final pieces to the puzzle that was the backstory of Irumyuui and everyone else in their little group of friends, and yeah, it continued to be tragic, very tragic, because Irumyuui just kept getting worse and worse and mutating further into this tragic monster being who, yes, had to keep giving birth over and over so her kids could be killed and then turn into a soup. But it got worse in the fact that they didn't just get to die naturally, they were pulled away the second they were born and then chopped up because apparently the food has, better restorative effects if the ingredients are fresh. But eventually, as Irumyuui continued to mutate and grow, she kinda led everyone to a specific point where she rooted herself, and then Beloff, as we know, was kinda not super happy about having to eat her kids, so he finally mentally broke and begged Irumyuui to just strip him of his humanity entirely. Which she did. After she created an opening into her own body, he just wandered in and then got transformed into a hollow. And the same thing happened to everyone else there except Voeko, who ended up getting sealed at the very bottom of Irumyui's body. So yeah, that's how the Village of Hollows was formed. Just everyone in her group just got turned into those hollows and now lives within what remains of her body. They gave up their humanity in exchange for these immortal hollow ones, but they can't die, but they also can't leave. They are incapable of leaving the village now. They're stuck here, but what can you do? And we learned at last where Faputa came from, because my initial suspicion was that Faputa was Irumyuui, but that ain't it. It's fairly close to that, but it's not exactly it, because Faputa, turns out, is Irumyui's final child, but unlike her other children who just wither away and die immediately, Faputa continues to live on. And that's because she's very unique from her other children. She's not born out of the same desire as them. She's actually a representation of Irumyui's frustration with her current situation. She's actually subconsciously not entirely happy being just a immobile tree thing, unable to think or speak or act. So that latent desire to be free of this was born as Faputa. Yep, that's the story. And man, it was really, really tragic and interesting to see it all play out right before my very eyes. But now, what exactly was the promise that Reg made? We still don't know, but I suspect that maybe it was that Reg promised to help Faputa finally free her mother from her current fate. That perhaps what Faputa wanted was for Reg to use his incinerator to just finally put her out of her misery. Or at least something to that effect. Ah well, speculation aside, let's head in for episode 9, everybody. Well, there you have it. I was correct about the promise that Reg had made. I was pretty much right on the money that she wanted him to use the incinerator to help her destroy the village, but it wasn't fully exactly what I had in mind, but I still had it, in that what she really wanted was for him to just blow a hole in it so she could get in and do it herself, which, yes, is a very important caveat to what she desired from this here. She didn't want him to personally just incinerate the whole thing, she just wanted to get inside. Now, she did have that one guy, and he's the same kind of thing as Reg, but I don't know, maybe either his incinerator-type weapons weren't strong enough to get in, or she couldn't convince him to do it, because Yeah, he seems remarkably less complicated than Reg, right? He might just not, take orders from her. At least won't take orders from her to destroy the village. And also, may I say, I started to feel real bad after I found out who the big dude was named after. Yeah. I was literally like, oh man, I couldn't like this guy. Just because he was like, he seemed kind of neat. He's just the big guy with the stone hammer who's defending the village. Oh, stone hammer, it's a sword. But I was like, yeah, he seems kind of cool. Turns out he's an embodiment of the putrid, wretched scumbag who abused Waco in her earlier years. So, yeah. Nice. I lost pretty much any and all respect for that thing. Just learning that. And apparently he still carries over some of that selfishness. And he is even conscious enough to speak, apparently. But the weird thing is that he got put into an ironic position as a guardian, right? That anything gets into the village and he steps up to try to stop it. Essentially, he's Irumyui's immune system. Right down to him even misidentifying threats and attacking those too. Although, technically, he wasn't wrong in thinking that Reg was a threat. He was. I mean, him blasting through him and opening that hole is gonna allow Fapata in here to tear the place apart, so... technically he was right. He was a threat. Still don't mind seeing him get blasted apart though. And I was thinking, out of all the people Irumyui could have chosen from Waco's subconscious to make into this guardian so she wouldn't be as lonely, she had to pick that guy. The reprehensible piece of human garbage that did all that madness to her, just, why him? And then I thought, well, how many other people did she even know in life, right? I mean, pretty much everyone else that she knew, well, they ended up becoming hollows at the village anyway. And he was one of the only other people that she had even any contact with, so he was probably one of the only options that she even had. Which is immensely depressing. Or just because of the trauma associated with him, the signals would be strong enough to where that's what she would dart to first. I don't know, I'm overthinking this. But another big thing here is that Riko just had Wazukyan's number down, man. She had him figured out with very little interaction with the guy. She's like, hey, what's up with you pretending to have given up on your dream to find the real Golden City here? And then even knew what his plan was. He was hopeful that Riko would take a Cradle of Desire and use that to free everybody. Well, that's probably not so much gonna happen if Fapata, kills everything in the village. If she even can. I mean, supposedly they're deathless, right? I mean, maybe they won't die of old age, but I mean, they could probably be killed in traditional fashion, right? But perhaps it's too late for Riko to use the Cradle of Desires to allow Wazukyan to fulfill his dream, but hey, maybe he could pass it on and let Riko and the others find the real place for him. Or who knows, maybe Fapata doesn't intend to kill everything in there. Maybe Wazukyan and some of the other sages would be spared. We'll have to wait and see. Because next time, probably gonna end up being a Doom Guy-esque gore fest of her just ripping them limb from limb as she carves a path down into the core of Irumyui here. By the way, I misunderstood. I thought she was referring to the Hollows potentially as being her siblings, but I was just misreading what was on the screen. No. No, they're not the siblings. Her siblings would probably be referring to, the little unborn, dark, bouncing baby things that Vueko was trapped down underneath Irumyui with. Those things are her siblings. Hence why she was saying, brothers and sisters, rest easy now, as literally they were wrapping all around her. My bad. Also, she looks like a total badass right here in this shot. Look at that. Honestly, there were a lot of good shots in this one. Like this right here, I could make that the damn thumbnail. And just the fact that they're all still fangirling over her, making these friggin' pog faces as she's about to frickin' massacre them. And that one over there looks like it's holding up a little baby or something, which, don't like the imagery of that, given what's about to happen. Oh well, another fantastic episode for Made in Abyss Season 2 here, but for now, I think that's going to be it, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed. Subscribe to be updated on more. That'd be great. Next time, we hit up episode 10. That should be, sometime soon. I hope. I'd also like to start Chainsaw Man sometime soon, as I've already stated. I want to get that started before December's over, but, who knows? Looks like I'm probably going to have a busy week at work, next week, but, depending on how things hash out, I can have a Made in Abyss ready, and a Chainsaw Man. Like I said, it depends. But yeah, this episode answered a lot of questions, gave us a lot of neat tidbits, so let me know what you thought of the episode as well. If there's any neat little information you can inform me of, I would really appreciate it. I always do. I always like to acknowledge those little bits of information you guys give me in like the openings of videos a lot, you know? Just because I really do appreciate being given further context. It helps put everything into perspective for me. But anyway, like I was saying, thank you so much for watching. Hope to catch you next time, but till then, I will see you guys later!